Hello everybody, my name is Ben, and welcome back for the first time to Sim Racing Stewards. We are going to be taking a break from normal sim racing and driving, and instead, we are going to be watching other people race and drive. Racing isn't always perfect, and people are very prone to making mistakes, and this subreddit was created to decipher whether these people are at fault or not for what they did. Now, if you guys enjoy these type of videos, please let me know, because I've never done one like this. So if you guys enjoy it today, please make sure to leave a like and comment down below if you guys, well, did enjoy it. I mean, I shouldn't just say the same thing again, so whoops on that. But whatever, I don't want to write a script for my videos, so I just sort of speak. But without wasting any more time, let's just get right into it. Okay, so the first clip today we were seeing is from current end 7453. Why did I end up getting a 20-second penalty for this? Is that fair? So we're here in GT4 cars in Assetto Corsa. I imagine we are in multi-class racing because we can see a little LMP car in his rearview mirror here. And that seems like it is going to be the problem for him. LMP's coming up behind and... Okay. So the rules are in multi-class racing is that it's the faster car's objective to get around the slower car. And the slower car is a little off the line here. He is sort of going towards the outside when the LMP is trying to get by him. But at the same time, the LMP does just sort of cut into the GT4. So I feel like in a situation like this, this is probably going to be a little bit on both drivers here. Because the GT4, I'm going to take that back. I think this might be entirely on the LMP car, who sort of does just turn into him. He's turning in way too early for this corner. He could have cleared him and then turned in, so I feel like this one's on the LMP because it is the faster car's objective to get around the slower cars. Most of the time it's going to be the faster car's fault for these kind of crashes. That's of course not the case all the time, but here it definitely is. So yes sir, you and the LMP are going to get a little slap on the wrist for that. So our next clip here by Salt Cartoonist 259. Did I do anything wrong here? I'm in the Black Nose Lamborghini. So hopefully Black Nose Lamborghini can help us out a bit in deciphering what went wrong, because these cars look exactly the same. Coming up on a GT3, another multi-class race. Okay. Interesting one here. So the white car is coming up behind. It is on the same line. Now, the GT3 car does not have to give up his line. In multi-class racing, the slower car doesn't have to give up his line here. He can just stick on that line. It is the faster car's job to get around him. But I don't think the white-nosed Lamborghini understands that, because he starts flashing his headlights here as if the GT3 is pulling in front of him, when the GT3 really just needs to follow his line. And I guess the white car is surprised by this, that the GT3 didn't just jump off the racing line entirely to let him through, and just swerves into the black car. Doesn't seem to take out the black-nosed Lamborghini, but does take himself out in the process, maybe for the better, because, yeah, I'm going to be honest, he is definitely at fault for this one, so, guilty. Other drivers said that I, in the POV, took them out and drive like there is no one else on the track. Here at the Nürburgring in little BMWs, for some reason he's recording this on his phone, it seems, so very interesting looking footage here. This is definitely a little tricky corner that we're coming up on, and it seems that the other guy is going to try to go around the outside, and yeah. Just a little bit of contact there, and it's all over. But, driving like there's no one else there. I'm not sure if something else maybe happened before this, but he held his line. He gave him enough room. I don't think this move, especially in these cars, this move would never work. Even if there was no contact, I think he would have been off the track no matter what. This move right here is just not something that's possible around the outside, especially in cars like this. I don't think he would have made that. Maybe he would have. Just that line. Honestly, he's blaming the POV car, saying he's driving like no one else is on track. But I feel like the black car here is honestly the one probably driving like there's no one else. I think he thought that he could just throw it around the outside like he wasn't there. But clearly he was there, because he gave him a little love tap into the wall. So damage doesn't look too bad. But I'm definitely going to have to put this onto the black car, because honestly, a move like this just really, that isn't happening there. Not on the Nürburgring, not on many tracks, and especially not in these cars. So Yeah, guilty. Mysterious Ruin 5164 says protested in iRacing. So protesting someone in iRacing can get them banned for like 2 weeks, or like depending on how much they've been banned before, it can be more than that. And a Jaguar painted IndyCar here around Atlanta Motor Speedway, coming up on a wrecked car, and the pink falls off right in front of him. I'm not sure, maybe he couldn't see this guy. I feel like from this angle, he most definitely can see up the track, unless he's just staring at this pink car and not at the 2 cars that are spinning out in the middle of turn 3. But, I'm not sure if this the Jaguar here is blaming the pink car and protesting them for what they did, but if that's the case, or if maybe it's this guy in the orange car protesting the Jaguar, which I think this guy has his own problems at the moment at least. I'm not sure what's being protested here or what's going on. If I were to guess, maybe the pink car for pulling off, but I feel like the Jaguar definitely could have seen this car from all the way back here. Unless you're not looking where you're supposed to be looking, you can most definitely see this guy all the way up here, and that's a very high line to also take, so I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I don't know who to blame for this one. Very interesting crash. Okay, so our next one by 420 Master Boy. Is this my fault? Should have less space being a lower class. In Forza Motorsport here, he's in a little Porsche. He's like around Daytona road course here, coming up to the bus stop, and okay. This seems to be the only POV that we're gonna get, but we can see, so Forza luckily gives us proximity arrows, which are extremely helpful in sim racing. We see him coming up, and this proximity arrow maxes out, which pretty much means that guy is going to be within a car length of you, which is definitely enough for a faster car to make an overtake on you here. And I feel like you should have seen that, especially if you're in a slower class and you don't have mirrors, probably be constantly looking behind you. In this situation, I'm not sure. I guess some people might blame the LMP here, or whatever this is, this Porsche 917, for hitting him, because I feel like he could have maybe made a move to go around. It is his job to get around him. But I feel like in this situation, the slower car probably should have just gave him the gap on this one. It doesn't seem to have affected the Porsche 917 too much, but I feel like he definitely could have just left the gap open there for him to go through on this one. That's not usually the case. Usually it's the other car that has to get around him, but with the way he was coming up on him, I feel like he maybe should have just let him through. I'm not sure if that's the actual rule. Again, if you guys can leave your opinions in the comments, that would be great. I want to get better at doing this kind of stuff. Okay, no sentence 8438. Did I close the door, or was the dive bomb never on? Another multi-class racing clip. Here we go again. A lot of multi-class today. Purple GT4 car, and okay. Very similar to the last clip, actually. Except this one is obviously from a lot farther back and a lot faster corner as well. And because of that, I feel like this is probably the LMP's fault here. Yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point, like, this move is wild to go for. Like, it's a crazy move to go for, but I feel like at this point here, you realize in your rearview mirror that this guy is in a position now where he can't really back out of this. Like, he's fully committed to it here. So at this point, I feel like if I were driving the purple GT4 car, I would have seen him in my rearview mirrors and tried to give him space. Just try to give him that run up through so he doesn't knock me out. But I feel like he should have just never gone for the move. So I feel like they're both a little at blame. I feel like the purple car could have avoided contact by giving him the space. But I also feel like the LMP could have just not gone for this move, because it is obviously very aggressive to go for, and he does take himself out the race. So I'm going to put this about half blame between them both. Please feel free to share what you guys think, but I think this is definitely between both of the cars here. Okay, our next clip by Wonderful Homework 31. What are the rules about driving a broken car this slow on track? So if you have the nice meatball flag, which is the black flag with the red circle, red orange circle, that that does mean that you have to go back to pit lane or get a tow back to track. I'm not sure if this car here has that, but he does definitely have some significant damage after hitting that wall. Here on the final sector of Road America, and yeah, he is creeping very slowly. He is off the racing line now, though. But he really should wait for these cars to go by before he jumps right back onto the racing line, and yeah. So driving a slow car isn't really a problem. Like, you do have to get back to the pit lane as fast as you can, but you can't just literally sit right onto the racing line. Especially around a corner like this, because this is a completely blind corner. You're turning in, and by the time you see your exit, you're sort of on that line. So this guy couldn't see him all the way back here, and had no time to make a move to really avoid him. So you can't just sit on the racing line if you're in a slow car. You have to pull off to the racing line, or in this case, this is iRacing, probably just tow. The tow, it does take a long time, and he is right near towards the end of the lap, but it could avoid incidents like this, and now you probably have to tow anyway, because I doubt that car works. And you also just ruined poor lad's race up there, so... Yep, I'm going to put the guilty on this orange car. That's a bit ridiculous. Okay, our next clip by Zealous Ideal Knee 306. BMW claims I was at fault in both incidents in Assetto Corsa Competizione. So I imagine he is here in the lime green Lamborghini. And okay, that's a very weird line to take. He sort of went to the outside and just cut in. BMW comes from like 2 car lengths back. I think he thinks he gets the gap here because I'm not sure where the fuck this guy's going. And he all of a sudden just kind of cuts back in. That's a pretty strange line to go for. Doesn't seem to be too bad a contact. I feel like maybe that could be a bit of a racing incident. And then what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? Like, seriously. You see, this is a little thing we call moving under braking. You're turning in, not because you're turning in for the corner, but because he saw this BMW going for a dive bomb, which this is a reasonable distance for it, and he tries to cut in front of him to stop the dive bomb. And if he was actually just turning in for the corner, he wouldn't keep turning in, giving the BMW zero space onto the racing line, and he just keeps turning into him, non-stop turning into him. So, yeah, you're definitely at fault for this. The BMW had the move, and you just straight up turned into him. I don't know what else to say. I'm not sure how you think you're not at fault for this, but, yeah, you and the green Lamborghini are very much so guilty. Okay, our next clip by 100K Blade. Who is at fault for the 2 incidents here in Le Mans Ultimate? Here at Monza, little tap up the inside from the car behind. That means nothing at all. I don't think anyone's really at fault for that one. Coming up to the second chicane now. Let's see what goes down here and who's at fault, which I imagine the second contact's going to happen. Come on up here. First one goes pretty well, and okay. So, the car on the outside, the one we're spectating here, he stays on the outside of this car the entire way through. He's alongside the whole way. At no point is he not alongside. And the car inside doesn't like that, I guess, or just doesn't realize that he's still there. Because he just sort of turns into him on this second little switchback here. And it doesn't give him near enough space to ever make that. I think he maybe just forgot he was there. Maybe he thought he was clear of him and he wasn't. But he was alongside the whole time. So I'm going to have to blame the non-POV BMW because they're both in the exact same livery here. So, yeah, you, sir, are probably guilty for this one because there's someone there, dude. Cannot just turn into him. Okay, so our last clip of today is by David Larson, 44. The Porsche has damage, so he was very slow. Let's see what goes down here. We're in a BMW hypercar, it seems. Again, I think this is Le Mans Ultimate, and wow, okay, yep. That happens pretty quickly. So, if we look up ahead, there is just a Porsche sitting in the middle of the road. He can't really go to the right here. And for some reason, I think this Porsche was just having a bad day, because he just sort of cuts back towards the left, like he's trying to hit the hypercar on purpose. And he also takes out the other BMW in the process. Yeah, I feel like that is, without a doubt, on the Porsche. You couldn't have really done anything. I feel like even if he had gone to the right, I think the Porsche was just out for blood. And no matter what he did here, that was going for him. So yeah, there's always going to be a clip like this, where someone's just having a bad day, and instead of them just having a bad day, they say, hey, let me make everybody else's day equally as bad as mine, and takes out 2 cars in the process of that. Awesome, man. Don't do that. Big slap on the wrist. Big painful slap. Okay, everybody, so that's going to be all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please make sure to like and subscribe, because it helps me out a lot, and I can hopefully manage to grow a fan base. I am going to try to start posting more consistently, because I have been very bad these past few months, as if I have any real fans that are waiting for my uploads. But if you guys do want to see more of my posts, make sure to subscribe or go to my page, watch some of my other videos. I have very similar content to all of this. So if you guys like sim racing, this is definitely the channel for you. Again, thank you guys for being here and watching all the way if you're actually hearing this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.